Hello everybody and welcome to my very first YouTube live video. We had a few technical hitches to begin with there. My original feed wouldn't go and I had to start the whole thing again. So that was all a bit stressful. But I'm here, I'm live, I'm dressed for the occasion, I hope you'll agree. And I have a small selection of pieces that I hope you will enjoy. When lockdown started, I was feeling really very low. My music just disappeared overnight. Every concert was cancelled. I wasn't going to get to see any of my colleagues, other musicians that I enjoy working with for many, many weeks. And when I first sat down and played a little something for Twitter, I'm not sure what the idea was, but it was, I think, a desperate desire to just cling on to some kind of music. It left a huge hole in my life, and the response that I got from Twitter was absolutely amazing. And I just wanted to say to everybody who has sent me likes and messages every day over lockdown, it really has been amazing. Thank you for that. And music filled the hole for me, that little bit of music every day. And so I wanted to start with one of my favourite composers, Schubert, with a piece that has come to mean even more to me in lockdown than it did before, his To Music. A translation is available online, of course, but I just wanted to read one line for you. A sweet heavenly chord from you has opened a haven of better times to me. Beloved art, I thank you for this. And I think that's really captured how I feel. So here we go. And die Musik. I really love that piece. During the lockdown, one of the things that's kept me sane has been trying to collaborate with other musicians online and doing the split screen, singing together. And this last week, one of the things I've been doing is re-recording one of my favourite sets, Vaughan Williams' The 5 Mystical Songs with Paul Plummer. And thanks to one of my amazing colleagues, Helen Neves, who has not only thrown these pieces together in her computer in record time so that they're now live and available on YouTube for you to have a look at today. But before the lockdown, Helen didn't really use the sound equipment and the tech and the programs, and she's learnt to do this during lockdown and has produced these amazing things, and it's been really wonderful to be able to hand over my singing tracks over to her, and she's turned them into something really lovely to listen to. Big thanks to Paul Plummer too, who his playing is just amazing, and it's quite a difficult and interesting challenge to put those things together when all you have is a piano track in your headphones. But it's been fun, and I hope you enjoy the results. So with Vaughan Williams in mind, I wanted to perform next for you his very first published composition, which I had assumed was a folk song arrangement, but in fact it's an original composition, and it's been something that I've loved for a very long time. And in fact, the first time I encountered the melody was in an arrangement by another composer, Patrick Lally, a contemporary composer. So this has been a favourite for a long time, and I hope you enjoy it. It is Lyndon Lee.
Within the woodlands flowery gladed, by the oak tree's mossy moot, the shining grass blades timber shaded, now do quiver underfoot, and birds do whistle overhead, and waters bubbling in its bed, and there for me the apple tree do lean down low in Linden when leaves that lately were springing now do fade within the copse, and painted birds do hush their singing up upon the timber tops, and brown-leaved fruits are turning red in cloudless sunshine overhead, with fruit for me the apple tree do lean down low in Linden Lea. Let other folk make money faster in the air of dark-roomed towns. I don't dread a peevish master, though no man may heed my frowns. I be free to go abroad, or take again my
Isn't that a gorgeous song? Absolutely love that one. So when I was putting together this little program, I had in mind that I would do a folk song slot. And having started with Lyndon Lee, which isn't a folk song, and I'll be ending this little segment with another piece that has folk at its heart but isn't a folk song, I thought I'd better actually include one folk song at least, and this is my absolute favourite of all time, Skyboat Song.
Speed, bonny boat, like a bird on the wing, onward the sails cry. Carry the lad that's born to be king, over the sea to sky. Loud the winds howl, loud the waves roar, thunder claps rend the air. Battle or foe, stand by the shore, follow they will not dare. Speed, bonny boat, like a bird on the wing, onward the sailors cry. Carry the lad that's born to be king, over the sea to sky. Though the waves lip, soft shall ye sleep, ocean's a royal bed. Rocked in the deep, Flora will keep watch by your weary head. Speed, bonny boat, like a bird on the wing, onward the sailors cry. Carry the lad that's born to be king, over the sea to sky.
So the final piece in my little folk song set is again not a folk song, but it comes from one of my favourite song cycles ever, written by George Butterworth, a Shropshire lad. I think it's so much more meaningful and heartbreaking that George Butterworth himself died in the First World War, and so that's very much in my mind when I sing this, my favourite song from the set, The Lads in Their Hundreds.
The lads in their hundreds to Ludlow come in for the fair. There's men from the barn and the forge and the mill and the fold. The lads for the girls and the lads for the liquor are there. And there with the rest are the lads that will never be old. There's chaps from the town and the field and the till and the cart, and many to count are the stalwart and many the brave, and many the handsome of face and the handsome of heart, and few that will carry their looks or their truth to the grave. I wish one could know them, I wish there were tokens to tell the fortunate fellows that now you can never discern. And then one one could talk with them friendly and wish them farewell, and watch them depart on the way that they will not return. But now you may stare as you like, and there's nothing to scan, and brushing your elbow and guessed had a not to be told. They carry back bright to the coiner the mintage of man, the lads that will die in their glory and never be old.
My next song is something completely different. This is actually my earliest musical memory, and you might be surprised by what it is. I came from quite an unmusical family. I don't think any of them would mind me saying that. But I remember vividly my granddad telling me that if you want to be a professional singer, you have to sing with your tongue in the roof of your mouth. And he would then sing this song, with his tongue in the roof of his mouth. And it made a certain sort of sense when you listen to old recordings and hear that muffled sound. I'm not going to sing it with my tongue in the roof of my mouth, but I would like to sing it for Grandad. I recorded this years ago when he died for his funeral. It is the opening number from Rodgers and Hammerstein's Oklahoma. Oh, what a beautiful morning.
There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. The corn is as high as an elephant's eye, and it looks like it's climbing clear up to the sky. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. Oh, the cattle are standing like statues. All the cattle are standing like statues. They don't turn their heads as they see me ride by, but a little brown maverick is winking her eye. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. Oh, what a beautiful day.
That one's for you, Grandad. So, sticking with the words of Oscar Hammerstein, but moving over to the music of Jerome Kern from that wonderful show, Schubert. I've loved this song ever since I first encountered it at university, when my first teacher, Martin Elliott, thrust it under my nose and asked me to sing it. And it's been a favourite ever since. I've never stopped singing it. I've never really given much thought to the words of this piece. It just seemed like a wonderful song. But the events of this past week, this past couple of weeks, or all around the world, has really made me think a little bit. And the term white privilege has come up a lot, and I think it is my white privilege to have grown up in a world where I thought that the ideas and feelings expressed in this song were a thing of the past. I thought that there were pockets of inequality, pockets of racism, but that generally the world was a good and equal place. And I think this last week has proven that I was wrong. It's been a privilege for me to grow up in a world where I don't see the horror that's going on. The last thing the world wants is for a white man like me to come up with a big speech or big ideas. All I will say is that I'm listening, and I hope that all of my fellow musicians will be listening too. This is Old Man River.
There's an old man called the Mississippi. That's the old man that I'd like to be. What does he care if the world got trouble? What does he care if the land ain't free? Old Man River, that old Man River, he must know something, but don't say nothing. He just keeps rolling. He keeps on rolling along. He don't plant taters, he don't plant cotton, and then that plants are soon forgotten. But old Man River, he just keeps rolling along. You and me, we sweat and strain, bodies all aching and racked with pain. Tote that barge and lift that bale. You get a little drunk and you land in jail. I get weary and sick of trying. I'm tired of living and scared of dying. But old Man River, he just keeps rolling along.
What an amazing song. I don't know if anybody has been commenting or sending messages. I honestly don't know how to look at them while we're live, so I promise I will have a look afterwards and say hello if I can. This is the end of my recital. I've got one final piece for you, and I'm hoping that as lockdown begins to ease, we'll start to be able to get into rooms with other musicians, and I'm absolutely desperate to get in a room with a pianist and start performing properly again without my own amateur accompaniment. I think we've probably got a way to go before this all ends, and I know that a lot of people out there are really struggling, and I hope that all of the music that's going on Twitter, on Facebook, is helping. So if you're struggling, I want to end with this one, which is just for you.
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile, and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness, hide every trace of sadness, although a tear may be ever so near. That's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope to see you again soon. Bye.